Home ownership is a scam. It's not clickbait. I'm going to tell you how. First, I want to start with a little bit of story time. After several different business ventures with my wife with varying levels of success, our friends and family nudged us towards home ownership. It's really pitched like this natural next step, next progression of your life. And if you don't do it, you're doing something wrong. We both got jobs. My income paid for the bills and hers saved towards the home. We were able to save about $1,000 a month towards the home, which is extraordinary because about 60% of Americans don't even have $1,000 in savings in general. Home prices were actually outpacing what we were saving as we were saving. In our area, the average price of a starter home was about $300,000 to $400,000. So we thought to ourselves, let's just get a older home. That way, we can still get our foot in the door in terms of ownership. We can still build equity, and we can pay it off sooner since the overall loan amount will be lower. We got an inspection done, and we had an idea of what we would need to get repaired, but we had severely underestimated the sheer scope of everything that needed to be repaired. We had to fix the gutters, fix the sewer line, cut trees down, so on and so forth. Yes, cut trees down because some of them were too close to the property and the insurance company deemed that as a threat to the structure. So they said, hey, you got to cut these down or we're going to drop you from coverage. On top of that, our property taxes went up by almost $1,000. And our home insurance, the first year that we got it, was about $1,300. In the second year of ownership, it had went up to $1,900. All these things just blew up our monthly mortgage payment. In addition to the fact that we had to get our water heater replaced most recently, and we had a warranty plan to cover that, but it didn't cover all of the costs associated with repair and removal of the old one. So we still had to come out of pocket for that. So we said, bump this, we had enough. We ended up selling the house, and what's crazy is a lot of the proceeds were used to pay off some loans that we had taken out to fix up the home. It's a crazy story, right? But let me tell y'all about what I call the stable, secure plan, or this is how the previous generation thinks that things should go plan. This plan consists of the following. You go to school, get a nice job, get a house, get married, have some kids, stay in that house and at that job for about 30 years or so. And then when the kids are out of the house, by that time the house is also paid off. So you have a place to stay, and between your 401k and your pension, whatever have you, Social Security, between those things, you can just float off and survive. And when you pass, your kids have a place to stay, or they can sell that home and use that as a huge one-time payout. And that's worked for decades. If we took my 400K example from earlier, this means that you need to put 20% down to avoid PMI. PMI is personal mortgage insurance, and that protects the lender, not you, protects the lender in the event that you default on your loan. Default is just basically you fail to pay it back, and they have to foreclose on the home, which means that they essentially sell it, force you out of it in an attempt to recoup the money that they loaned you. And if the proceeds of the sale don't cover all of the money that you owe them, then guess who still owes them the rest of that money? 20% down in my example is about $80,000. And that's just for the down payment. That doesn't include closing costs, which are another 2 to 5% of the total loan amount. So all in all, you're looking at about $100,000 that you need to come to the closing table with. Most people are not coming to the closing table with that kind of money unless they have really good jobs or they're engaged in nefarious activities. So most people are going to need down payment assistance. A lot of these down payment assistance programs have DTI requirements. DTI means debt to income. It's a measurement of how much money you have going out, or your debts or expenses, relative to how much money you have coming in or how much money you make. You have front end DTI and you have back end DTI. Front end is the measure of your income versus the mortgage itself, and back end is the measurement of your income versus any other loans you have, like student loans, a firm, car payment, things like that. Speaking of student loans, some lenders calculate student loans differently. Some will take your monthly payment literally, And others, if you're anything like me on a repayment plan of some kind, they'll take 1% of your remaining student loan amount and use that number as the payment amount. And you can see how that can add up really quick. A lot of these programs require at or below 30% DTI. This means that your mortgage amount and any other loan amounts that you have, that number cannot exceed 30% of the total income that you make per month. There's other factors that go into this as well, such as the length of time that you've been at your job, how long you've lived at any address you've been at, your credit score, repayment history, so on and so forth. Most programs get you to a point where you can only put down 3.5%. For my example, your mortgage comes to almost $3,000 a month, which means you need to make about $9,000 a month or about $108,000 a year to qualify for that down payment assistance program. If you're anything like us, if you could save $1,000 a month, I say that like that because that sounds crazy. But even if you could save $1,000 a month, it would take you 3 years to get the money necessary with the down payment assistance, which is about $35,000 in this case. And it would take you about 8 years to get that money without the down payment assistance. I beg your pardon, your finest, most illustrious pardon. And in the midst of all of this, house prices are still increasing along with interest rates. Even if you buy new, you are subject to and still on the hook for all of the expenses necessary for the house. Your roof is a depreciating element of your home and it takes a beating year round. A lot of home roofs are made out of asphalt shingles. Those only last about 10 to 15 years, like on the good, most effective side. And at the 10-year mark, your insurance company is going to increase your premium and decrease your coverage relative to the age of the roof. To replace a roof, it can average about $18,000 to $20,000, sometimes more, sometimes less, depending on the size of your roof, as well as the materials used. And if you want a metal roof, which is what I recommend, because that's going to last lifetimes, but that's like 3 times the price of a shingle roof. Your HVAC system, that's only going to last about 10 to 15 years. It's probably going to cost you anywhere from 10 to 15K to replace. Your water heater, it's only going to last 8 to 10 years, especially if it's a tank. That's going to be another 3 to 4K to replace. Then there's plumbing, your siding, your foundation, so on, so forth. We need to stop marketing home ownership as a attainable, maintainable, or even a normal goal in this day and age. It's not the only pathway to wealth, and in some cases, it can actually deter you from it. It's not a fit for everyone's lifestyle. The cost of home ownership, depending on where you live, can actually shake out to be the same as or more than renting. If you're burning money by renting, you can also be burning money by spending it on repairs for your house. A lot of people often take out equity that they had built up in their home to pay for these repairs. And there goes the wealth that you were building. And if you really think about it, if you take the money from the sale of your starter home and put that towards a home that you actually want to be in, are you really building wealth? You just went from being a homeowner to a homeowner. You've literally made no tangible progress towards wealth in that regard. And dream homes are going to be 2 to 3 times the original amount I had mentioned in my example. And that's just for my area. So this is like $1 million territory. You're talking 20% down, it's going to be like $200,000 just for the down payment. This means that you have to make at least 18K a month, which is like 216,000 a year just to get this mortgage. And here in South Carolina, you're living like a king, like a god. You go to California or similar places, you're living like a pauper. $1 million, that'll get you a cardboard box. All in all, this has taught me to just make more money. That's the goal. Diversify your income as much as you can. If I did buy another home, it would solely be to rent it out. And I know a lot of people are not going to like that, but that is really the only way that a house and buying one can be a means by which to attain wealth. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, follow, share. Peace.